right, Mulligans and Hackers Golf, special guest podcast number 2 for season number 2. We hooked up with Mike from 36 a Day.
Yeah, we've been fans of Mike from 36 a Day Golf Co. for a while and was happy to get him on. I wear his lids exclusively, and in this podcast, we have a little bit of an announcement that we made with Mike.
Yeah, and I wasn't available in the first half, so thanks to Mac from On the Screws Golf for stepping in and co-hosting with Alvin.
Our first guest co-host, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys will notice I had a different color beard for the first half before I was available to jump back in. So
really appreciate Matt jumping in, and he's familiar with Mike too, because Mike has been on his podcast, so it was really cool to get him back talking.
Yeah, so make sure you guys listen to the podcast. It'll be towards the end where we got some great news and a cool announcement that's coming up for our upcoming season, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Enjoy.
All right, I've hijacked the podcast here. I'm your host, Chris Cass, or filling in for Chris Cass. My co-host Alvin Paul is here beside me, and this is season 2, episode 2 of the Mulligans and Hackers podcast, and we're with Mike Johnny from 36 a Day. So we both got one of his lids on here. Mike, how are you?
Guys, I'm doing great. Mac, always good to see you. Alvin, this is a real pleasure. Congrats on season 2.
Thanks, man.
And your season victory last year on tour. It's a pleasure to join you guys. Looking forward to the conversation.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your time.
I will. I don't have any notes or anything, Alvin. So I will admit that I'm just here for the moment. Yeah.
Chris got called away, so I appreciate Matt coming in and being the host here on episode 2 guest podcast.
Yeah, it's this is my first time guest hosting a podcast that I talked myself into, like that I just asked if I could do it. So I'm glad that I know both you guys fairly well, and that I've chatted with both you guys at length in the past. So it's it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I could be here to help Alvin. If I'm helping or if I'm not, you can ask me to leave at any time, and I'll hit the little red button here and get out.
Same with me.
Casual. There's no pro here. This is all casual, man.
Love it.
And I really appreciate you two guys coming on, and you too, Mike. We just did a little thing with Mac before this. That'll probably be our season opener, and
awesome.
And then we'll post this one after we're done. But I wanted to get you on, Mike, because I think what I told Mac earlier, in the last 2 years, I've played 170 plus rounds in the last 2 years.
You are a legend.
And again, I'm contrary to what Mac will tell you, I'm still relatively new to the game.
Okay.
Mike, how long does he get this free pass of saying he's a new golfer when he's golfing?
That's a good point.
85 rounds a year, and he's
85 rounds a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm still new at this.
So how long have you been playing for, Alvin?
Last year, I guess the year before last, we played probably 15 to 20 rounds, and that was the most rounds we've played. I personally have played, and Chris, we were not really into golf our entire lives, so like a couple hundred rounds in the last 3 years, and that's pretty much got us into golf. Like, we didn't play much.
Okay.
I didn't play much before that at all, maybe a few rounds at the par 3 here and there. And then there was a period of like 10 years where I didn't pick up a stick. And I do have, this is my one admission, Mike. So I've played all these rounds in the last 2 years. There was one round that I did not wear one of your hats.
Ooh.
I forgot my lid stash at home, and I had to wear a brand hat for one round in the last 2 years. So I'm going to throw it out there that the apology is there. I'm really sorry, but
dude, you're repping better than I am.
That will never ever happen again.
I think I had 2 or 3 rounds this year where I didn't wear my own hats. I've got a hat from Cabot Links that I bought, and I put on one of those like big sun hats, like one of those Adidas sun hats, because it was like 31 degrees and just like searing, right? And I didn't have any sunscreen in the bag, which is a fail. So I'm like, oh, I'll put the big lid on, which always makes me look older than I am. I look like such a
I got one of
do a
those too.
job.
They're fun though. They're fun to kind of, I don't know, keeps you
When
over top of the ball.
When are
a
we
little
going to get a
bit.
36 a day one of those?
Yeah.
No, that would be great. I've done a limited run on bucket hats because those seem to be the thing, right? And they're pretty polarizing though. Folks either really love them or they're like, sorry, Dad, I'm not throwing that guy on.
I got a few bucket hats. I've got a couple Adidas. I've got like a Titleist one. I'm not a big brand guy either. When I mean like big brand, like big golf brand guy. Like I was telling Alvin, we're over 100 episodes deep, and probably a third of those are with like brands like yourself, Mike. So the idea is to try to like get connected with people in the golf community and sort of represent those things, right? So I definitely have a few bucket hats. I know like Goat Track puts those things out too and stuff too, right? So it's I might have to come over and find one of those things. I do like the bucket hat. They're pretty cool.
They're very comfy. I mean, I'll tell you, they're super comfortable. So
Yeah,
they've got that going for them.
well, I find that big Titleist one kind of like keeps my swing plane a little straighter. I don't fall out of my shoes as much when I'm
Okay.
I don't know, it keeps me a little top heavy, I guess. And maybe I don't rock as much.
Never worn one, so I have no
Things
idea.
are huge, man. They're like
they're
it's like a sombrero.
Hey, we have one of those.
Yeah, there you go. You put that on for a round, it's pretty much the same thing. It's maybe a little less
same
stiff,
feel.
but yeah. So sorry, Alvin, you go ahead. I know you guys wanted to. Yeah.
I was just so Mike. Why hats?
Why hats? Started my blog. Oh my God, it's about 7 or 8 years ago. And after a couple of years, I realized I should create I don't know whether it's a logo or some kind of brand identity, and went with the maple leaf with a dimpled golf ball look. I'd always kind of thought that would be really cool. And the feedback had always been really positive. So it wasn't as much me driving it, but folks coming up to me and say, I love that look. That would look, they were saying that would look great on a golf hat. And I tried it like a really, really limited run. And I was probably too quiet with it, but thought it was fine. It was probably around the time of the pandemic where I wasn't getting out and playing as many courses. I had a little more time on my hands, and folks, every now and then folks would keep saying, you should think about this, you should think about this. And I decided to give it a go. And, maybe I'm a bit more stubborn than talented, and I've just kind of kept pushing it. But Alvin, the feedback's been pretty positive. So, continuing to give it a go. I'll give you a little scoop. I've just finalizing some details to be exhibiting this February at the Toronto Golf Show, which talk about taking the training wheels off. It's pretty big. So it'll give the brand a little bit more exposure, because that weekend in Toronto gets probably well over 5,000 people kind of coming through, but it's the opportunity to network with some of the other courses and course conglomerates, or like places like Club Link and Golf North and other places, just to let them know, hey, this is who we are and this is what we do, and we'd love to be able to get our hats into your shop. So
and you're going
a little idea.
You're going more towards like getting your hats into the courses themselves, not necessarily now like online sale type thing.
Yeah, I'm moving a little bit away from direct consumer. I mean, that'll still be an option. But I think there's something to be said, and I mean, you guys are hat guys, so there's something to be said about being able to see it and touch it and try it.
For sure,
To
yeah.
see-
You gotta be able to put a hat on for sure.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's, we all golf a lot, and we've seen different kind of hats. And when you find one you like, or maybe it's the flip side, when you find one that's like, wow, that fits me terribly, or it just doesn't feel right. That's important too, and it's a little bit more of a risk online. So
For sure.
we'll still do direct to consumer, but I think the push is going to be to pro shops and retail outlets down the road.
Well, for me, like I know I've had this conversation with a few people, probably way too many people. So I'm definitely a hat guy. But like the spot that it sits on your ear, like on your head, and how it like falls down onto your ear and feels like some of them sit kind of high, like the dad hats and stuff like that. Like if you're going for that kind of model, but if you're wearing something on the golf course, you kind of want it to like sit all the way down, I think, right? And it's got to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
And yeah. So
Totally.
these ones do that. So if you're listening to the pod, these ones do that. If you know what I'm talking about, because I feel like a lot of people do. It's a hat person thing for sure, definitely.
Guaranteed. And I wear hats almost every waking moment that I'm not sleeping, whether it's
You got
golfing.
hair under there? You got hair under there, Alvin? Or
I do. Yes,
Okay.
I'm
okay.
there's more gray than black now, but that's part of getting older and getting more experience.
Me too, man. Me too.
But yeah, so I actually won a couple of the 36 a day hats right before we started our season last year. So I had two
That was our giveaway. Yeah.
That was your giveaway, and I won those hats, and I played the entire season with those two hats. I did not switch, and then I hooked up with Mike at the beginning of the year and got a bunch more, and a couple different styles, and I really like them, and I'll be wearing them until I stop this crazy adventure in golf.
You guys wear visors at all? Either one of you guys get the visor on at all?
I would wear a visor, you bet, for sure.
Well, a high crown visor or something. I got
Yeah,
I got a lot of hair up there too. That's it's kind of neat when you get in the golf cart and you're,
But again,
scrolling
out here
around
when
in
we're
the-
playing golf in the summer in Alberta, it gets like crazy hot, like 35 to 40 degrees. You need a white bucket on your head, because any dark colors or even a visor, like you're getting some tanning on the old melon there, and it can turn south really quick.
Will it always stay hats, Mike? Is it always just going to be hats, or are you going to go branch into other apparel?
I'd like to branch out to other apparel, but a lot of that is going to be really kind of driven by kind of the feedback of consumers. If there'd be any interest around golf shirts or like an athletic tee, or, well, I mean, we're all avid golfers, so we're playing the shoulder season and throwing it on a toque, because it doesn't matter. I think the only month that I haven't had a toque on playing in Canada is July. I've had a toque on in June. I've had a toque on in August. Now, it was near the end of August, but it's amazing. And so, yeah, it's a very long answer to say I'd love to be able to branch out, but for now, hats are a pretty safe and easy starting point.
So
Yeah, we got a toque as well. Sorry, we got a toque as well.
Yeah,
I had it on today for a few minutes, and I feel like I could have gone like toque to a hat to a visor to a sun hat to a toque, like all within one round of golf. Like it's just like 3 seasons of Canadian golf up here right now. Like, well, Mike, you and I are pretty close to it, like to one another. It's just like fluctuating constantly right now. Some days are plus 15, some days are minus 5 right now. It's crazy.
Oh gosh, over the course of a round, you just feel like you're spending half your time changing, taking layers off. So are you guys still playing out west, Alvin?
No, we our courses shut down last Sunday was the last day, but the weekend was pretty bad. So Saturday and Sunday we didn't get to play. So I think Thursday was our last round of last week, or I should say, not this Thursday past, but the Thursday before. So our courses are done now.
We're playing with house money out in Ontario, but it's been a fabulous fall, and I think we got about another 7 or 8 days of crazy mild weather, and then probably pull the chute.
Well, what course are you at, Mike?
I play at a Hidden Lake in Burlington.
Right. I remember that now. Yeah. I'm at Port Hope, so we actually shut it down today, which was unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah, because they don't do any like green aeration or anything. They just close the course, do it all at the end of October. So, which is great because you play pristine golf right up until today, which is October 30th, whenever this one goes out. But yeah, I'll find a couple spots to go out for a walk and find a few more rounds before the year's over, hopefully. Anyway, but. I got to run, guys. I got to take off, but I really appreciate that. It's good to catch up with you a little bit, Mike.
Great seeing you, Mac.
Yeah, after the golf show, let's get in touch. Let's see how it went.
For sure.
We'll get you on my pod disclaimer, I'm not really Chris Cass. If you're just listening to this one, I faked you out. I'm actually Mac from On the Screws podcast. Ha. So yeah, it's I'm
Hey,
sure
buddy,
everybody knew.
I appreciate you jumping on too, man.
I'm sure everybody knew by now this was not Chris Cass. And if you're looking at me, his beard did not go white and black.
No, it is still
He's still got the
red,
big ginger red beard.
red and gingerish. Yes,
Love it.
But Mike, good luck at the golf show. I'll come by and see you. If I don't talk to you before then, I'll definitely come by and see you. I'll be there wandering around doing something, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So I'll put a mic in people's face and just randomly talk to them about golf.
Perfect.
All
Always
right,
good
guys.
to see you, Mac.
Awesome,
Take good
Mac.
care.
Thanks, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate
take
it.
care, guys. See ya.
See you, man. Here we are with part 2 now that Chris has joined us. Thanks for jumping on, Chris, buddy.
Yeah.
You missed
Happy
some
to be
good
back.
stuff earlier, but I'm glad you joined us now.
It's all right, Chris. I saved the. I'm feeling smarter as I go along, so this is going to be great. Pleasure meeting you, actually. I follow your antics on tour with Alvin, and just love what you guys have created. But I'll be quiet and let you guys ask some questions. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate you coming on, Mike. I appreciate your time and just taking some time out of your day to chat with us goons. So we talked with Mac just earlier about your hats and what you're looking forward to in your hats, and we were one of the things that I found about like Canadian brands, because I've been looking for a Canadian golf polo shirt type of Canadian brand. There are a couple out there, but one of the things I find the thing that turns me away most is the price. And I know they have to do it, but like $65 for a golf polo with their brand name on it. I get that you need to make the business part of it worthwhile. But I mean, you're looking for a very niche, small type of market when you do that, right?
It's really hard. I mean, I either that or, I mean, maybe there's a lot more money out there than I have, or that just. I have a tough time with that. I think that's a lot.
Yeah.
But you see certain brands now. If you guys go to like a golf town near you, like that G4 brand, I'm absolutely blown away at the prices.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I couldn't even ask somebody, as a consumer myself, I couldn't do it. I couldn't ask. In fact, I brought on a business partner, and we're looking to create with the same look, but we're looking to create our own custom hat, because what we want to be able to offer is something of a comparable quality, but at a better price point.
Yeah, price point.
I mean, love the quality of what we produce, but we'll go through a retailer or a pro shop, and it will still be the same price, because they'll have their markup as well,
right.
which is fine. But you get a lot of people involved, then all of a sudden the price gets really steep. And like we talked about with Mac, Alvin, shipping in this country is, I mean, it's a challenge. It's really tough.
Right, it's an entity unto itself, and that's when we did our couple of short runs and the merch that we did, these type of things, and it was almost cheaper for us to drive them to the towns that ordered them instead of shipping them.
I've done the same. I've driven it like 90 minutes. And it's like, oh, you always do that? And I'm like, I come up with a little excuse. I love driving, which I do. And as golfers, I mean, avid golfers as we are, driving to play 2-3 hours, it's just not a big deal. It's just like, it's just what I do. So
yeah, we do we don't drive maybe that far. Chris does. Chris does a little bit of traveling and gets quite a bit of golf in. Calgary.
Usually in the summer, I'll drive a couple hours into the mountains or up to Calgary area. Or this summer, where we go, we did 4.5 hours into BC. So that was fun. We did a couple courses up that way. So
Where'd you
we
play out
try
there?
to make a trip every summer and get some in.
Where'd you play out there?
We played Creston Golf and Country Club. That was a super nice course. And then we played Kokanee Springs. Front nine was really nice. back nine, kind of a little bit of an afterthought. But there's lots of construction up there because they just got bought by some company in the States, so they're making some changes. But beautiful scenery, beautiful golf courses, and just it's nice to always play something different, right? Something give you a little bit of a different challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun experience.
I try to make it a habit of trying to play. I like to play anywhere between 20 to 25 different courses a year. And I mean, early in the season with my injury, I wasn't sure if that was going to happen, but we were able to make it happen this summer again. So it was good.
Healed up pretty good from that.
It's getting there. It feels, it's feeling better. I mean, my golf wise, it's good. Walking around and doing my thing, it's good. There are days when I'm playing some of my other sports that it gets a little stiff, but it all in all, I'm well ahead of schedule and I'm doing well. So I'm hoping that next season I can be 100% and go reclaim all my championships.
Good stuff.
You know what, buddy? I got the one jacket that I was looking for.
There we
go. Looking for.
There we go.
So I'm next season I'll be so relaxed and just willing to take all those trophies that I didn't win this year, but I got my jacket. I'm good.
You're immortalized now, right? You were you're a champion.
I'm a tour champion. Chris won the tour championship last year because he swept the awards last year. Okay. And Clark pretty much swept the awards this year, except the one blemish on his mark was the tour championship jacket, which I won. And it was props for me because I really didn't know if I could win a 2-day event in our little tour, but I did, and I'm really happy about it.
So guys, here's another thing, and I'll share something new with you that I think I'm 95% sure I'm going to do this. With plans to grow the hat business, loving what you guys do, but there's trying to get our hats onto teams and groups that are playing. I want to create a winner's wall, like on our new website. So Alvin, you won last year. I saw a picture of you with the jacket on, and you had one of my hats,
the green and gold Masters hat.
Yes. So what I will ask folks to do is, if you are comfortable having your picture shared on our website, because we would tag it, use like a Google map and tag it, I will send a winners only gold maple leaf hat. So you can't buy it. You have to win it. And it has to be some kind of competition where there's either a trophy, a jacket, a banner. Like, you can't go out and play your buddy for a beer and say, "Oh, I finally beat him." It's like, no, it's got to be a legit competition.
Yeah, and our competitions are season long.
Right.
And we finish up our we'll say chase for the cup with the 2-day tour championship. And that would be awesome.
So I will follow up with you because like I said, I'm 95% sure I'm going to do that. We were able to sell some hats to a group based fairly close to where I live in Southern Ontario that facilitates amateur long drive participation. And
I follow them on Instagram, and
they've been filling up our feed, right? They've been blowing it up because the Canadians are doing exceptionally well.
I think they were just in Florida like this weekend, weren't they?
Yeah. And their belts, it's like one of those wrestling belts, right? Which is really, really cool. Well, that was where I got the idea, because I'm like watching all these things come in, and bless their hearts, they've got our hats on, and I'm like, all right, I got to come up with a winner's hat. And then I thought of you. It's like, yeah, because that'd be pretty cool, and it's all opt in, right? If you're like, no, I don't want my picture on the internet or something like that, but it's like, there you go, send me a picture, I'll tag it geographically, a little 1-sentence thing, and you get the gold leaf hat. And
so let me do Chris a favor here. So he won the tour championship last year. So do we get caught up then? Like, does he get one and I'll get one, and then next year the next guy gets one?
Absolutely, yeah. If there's a picture to post, then fire it up. I'll put it on the website, tag it. I mean, I'll work out the details and little sentence. Like Chris Cass wins the 2021 Hackers and Mulligans season championship. Boom.
We really need to do a me and Chris we need to get some promotional photos of both of us with our jackets on, because I want to use it as like our profile pages and stuff like that, right?
That's brilliant.
You know, and our social media is growing pretty well as well. So again, it's eyes on the prize type thing, right? And I think you and I, Mike, talked earlier in the week about making 30-60 Day Golf Co-Hats the official hat of the Mulligans and Hackers podcast tour, what we do.
Would love it.
Yeah,
that would be great.
And then we'll post a link to your social medias on ours, and we'll make that little connection and go from there.
Perfect. I will, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. I will. I probably mentioned this before you came on, Chris, but maybe flip the script at some point. I'll connect with you guys and I'll do an interview. I've got something I used to do where it's a quick 9. So I come out with like 9 questions, just a little bit of background. Why'd you start the tour? You know, like all those things. And it usually ends with, what's your bucket list course? Like
that's a real quick one for me.
What would be,
you know, it's not that we'll ever get to do it, but Augusta is mine. I mean, since we got into this whole golf thing, I'm kind of a little bit of a armchair historian. I like history of things.
Okay, nice.
So when I got into golf, I really jumped into the history of golf, and I got 100% totally wrapped up in Masters. So there's a channel on YouTube, and it's a Masters channel, and they actually have videos on there of the last round of every Masters all the way back to 1968.
What a beautiful rabbit hole to fall into.
So, and boy, did I get into that rabbit hole.
Oh my God. That would be so cool.
I started at 1968. And by the way, 1968, the guy that won it, I can't remember his name, but he won it because the guy he was tied with had a scorecard error. That was 68. Yeah. So now I just watched today, actually, I just watched 1997 Tiger's first win at the Masters. And 2 years before that, Ben Crenshaw won, and Tiger was the low amateur sitting in the clubhouse with him. So there you go. A little bit of, this is me getting caught up in my golf history, and I'm loving that part of it too.
So here's a question for you guys, because you guys are playing competitive, and maybe it's loosely competitive. I'm sure you're supporting each other and you're having a good time. There's no doubt about that. But is it, whether it's a major or the season-ending event, do you guys get nervous? Is there, like, are you feeling pressure where it's like, man, I gotta score well in this back 9, or this thing's going to hell?
I'll let you go first.
You know, last year when I was fully healthy, I embraced the pressure, and I just, like, I use it almost as fuel. And that's why I was able to win so many events and take home all of the awards and stuff like that. And I never really felt last year that the pressure got to me ever. This year, coming back off my injury and, being behind six events in, I found myself pressing.
5 weeks behind, right?
Yeah. I found myself pressing when I got back. I found myself that if I wasn't scoring good through 9 or through 12 or I was within striking distance, I was pressing too much. And as we know in golf, when you start to press, you start to make bad shots,
it's
right?
It's a counterintuitive sport, isn't it? Like, you just, trying too hard, swinging too hard, or pressing. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
your sound cut out, Chris.
Can't hear you. Hopefully you can hear us.
Anyways, this year on tour, we had more sudden death playoffs, and Alvin and I actually found each other in a sudden death playoff for one of the tour dates. And, traditionally on tour, I would say that I'm one of the better putters. And at that point, we were playing 10 at Cottonwood. I remember it. We played in the morning. We went and we played 18 at Medicine Hat Golf and Country with my dad and my brother. Then we went back to Cottonwood for the tiebreaker because we had a busy day. And I remember we both hit the fairway. I was just off. I missed the green. Alvin hit the green. And then I chipped on. And I'm like, well, I got to hopefully get a bogey out of the situation because of the way it was. And Alvin ended up, I think, on the wrong tier. And he was let off for his first putt. So anyways, the long story short, he ends up making bogey. And I have like, I don't know, a 2-footer maybe. It should have been an easy putt to make. Well, lo and behold, I end up missing it. And that was kind of a little bit of a stretch there where I struggled with putting. And then, I mean, we go back to our first major event this year, the one that Clark won, the inaugural, the jug. I had him dead to rights with 3 holes to go. And then, you know, my last two or 17, all I had to do was get it close. I flubbed a chip. You know, I knew where I was in the situation. Even on 18, I had a chance to send it to a playoff, and I missed the putt. And I just felt that this year there was pressure. And we go back to Alvin winning the Tour Championship. Well, it was me, him, and Clark all day on the Sunday. Once we caught up to Clark, that it was between. Jeez. And you know, I knew I was kind of hanging around. And at that point, I was it was in my head. I'm like, wow, what a story it would be to come back from, you know, injured throughout the year and just pull off the win. And honestly, I think the pressure in the end got to me. I mean, I finished third, just 1 stroke behind Clark. But you know, when you step on that first tee box, it's now with the group of guys that we have, it's become so competitive that there's definite nerves to be had sometimes on shots. That's cool. And all of us will let each other know where we're at during the round.
That's nice.
And we won't let anybody forget because you got to keep the pressure dialed up.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, like, don't let anybody get away with it. Put somebody in a bit of a pressure cooker. I mean, especially when it's like competitively fun, right? Like you guys are still enjoying yourself, but
and again, you know, when me and Chris go out and play, like we like competing against each other, even when we don't have these tour events and stuff. We like to see where our games are comparable to each other, and you know, I think I've got like 10 years on Chris, you know, age wise, and you know, I like to compete with the young guys. I'm the oldest guy in this whole endeavor, so I like to when I get a chance to win, I'm beating the kids, right? So, but I found last year, towards the end of the season, my mental game broke me. Chris could probably attest to this. Like down the stretch, I played absolutely terribly. I couldn't I mean, we're talking at a par 66 course. I think I even shot 100 one round.
It was not good. I mean, I think the biggest thing for you is you had a couple good rounds, like mid high 70s, and you're feeling good, and then you were getting frustrated because you couldn't replicate it every day, and you kind of let that. And I didn't have
the game acuity in golf to maintain some composure because again, I'm new to this, and I'm still using that too. By the way, I'm new at this.
So Chris, we were talking with Mac about, you know, Alvin's been playing a fair amount the last couple of years, and I'm relatively new to the game.
Yep.
Which I never really answered that. I think that's fine. I actually think you got about another year or two to go because that relatively new to the game, it's like a window. If you're like within a 4 or 5 year, the fact that you've played a bazillion rounds is, well, it's more of a credit to you. But yeah, no, I think you've got that window hasn't closed yet.
The contrast from last year to this year, Mike, was down the stretch this year, like our Tour Championship at the end, I wound up winning. My mental game came around to where I could handle that at the end.
Yep.
I did tell a story with Mac previously that will be out earlier about a major club switch in the bag from Saturday when we played to Sunday that changed my game 100% from where we were playing. I took
ballsy for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I
think I like it though.
I took a 6-iron out of the bag that was a 25-degree loft, and I added a King Cobra hybrid that was my 6-iron was 25, the King Cobra was 26 degree, and it was a 5 hybrid. And that club won me the day on the Sunday because I've told this story before, but I needed that club from the tips at the course we played for 6 shots in the day. And my 6-iron never, ever got me where I needed to be. So when I switched that club out, I started hitting that club straighter. and it started putting me in shape. And that really changed the Saturday to the Sunday, was that one club change.
I had a year, this is probably 5 or 6 years ago, and the first iron in my bag was a 7-iron because I went hybrids, 4, 5, and 6. I didn't care. Like some folks said, wow, like, they haven't come out with a 7 hybrid yet. And, and I'm like, maybe they have. I'm just, I'm staying in my lane. I'm playing my game because my iron game was just a flaming mess. So,
yeah. And, it's just, we play a lot of rounds. Like we played a lot of rounds in the last couple of years, and it was nice to start figuring out, hey, I have a hole in my bag here for this yardage that I need to clean up somehow.
Good for you. Nice.
Right. And so I just made that change. And, Chris with his wedges, Chris plays Haywood wedges. And I mean, watch him down the stretch, what we call lick it and stick it, right?
Yeah.
These wedges from in close, right? And again, being able to navigate, like last year, everything at our course was driver.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Everything was driver. A driver off every par 4, driver off the par 5s, driver off everything. Well, this year we start playing, and it's like, well, I need to be here. So I don't need to hit driver, but I just need to be here.
Course management.
Yeah.
Yep.
We started figuring out course management, which started helping out our scores and helping us navigate this course. Not as hard. Like every shot is not maximum effort.
Right.
So again, playing more golf and figuring that out, that's huge. And that's the beauty of this. Like you're finding stuff out as you're playing more. It's like, yeah, I don't need to try and drive the green here. I probably could if I hit a straight shot. But if my driver goes left or right, slice or a hook, I'm in trouble. I'm looking at bogey. So if I take a 3-wood, lay it up, I'm chipping on 2-putt par, get off.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Smart play.
I think that comes for me, I've only played maybe 370 rounds in my life. Like I only started getting into golf like 2 years ago, like hardcore.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm pretty athletic, but I'm super competitive to the point where if I'm going to pick something up, I'm going to do everything I can to get good at it. And last year, like I spent hours and hours and hours on the range and on the putting.
Good for you.
Working on things. And I mean, this year, Clark did a lot of the same, and you can see the transition in his game. And that's kind of, I found when I lost 5 weeks, I lost some of that touch because typically I'm a good wedge player. I'm good on the green. That took like a month or two for me to get back because that's the first thing that generally goes, right?
Totally. Do you guys do indoor stuff? Do you guys do like in the winter?
We did a little bit
a little bit last year. Probably do some more this year though.
We're going to do more this year because I think we're actually because our home course has a league that starts in January because they have simulators. So I think we're going to get involved with that this year, and we have another really nice place. Studio 4 here is a simulator specific golf place with 4 bays, and it's a little they have a little bar pub type atmosphere.
Awesome.
And we're going to hook that up a little bit this year as well. And again, a shout out to Studio 4 because a really nice little setup they got down there.
Cool.
So if you ever get out this way, Mike, we'll take you down.
Might have to. So it's possible I might be coming out to Calgary on business next September.
Nice.
So I will, if that gets confirmed, I'll let you guys know because that was my whole thing. I work at York University and I've got a research partnerships role, but I have colleagues across the country. So we've created this network. And to make a long story short, I would go to these conferences and exhibit around the nature of the work that we do. And after a while, I would tack on time. And that's one of the whole things about the blog where it's like, okay, well, I've created my own bucket list. I've got courses across the country, like these public courses, and I'm just going to try and go play. So in some cases I give them a call and like, yeah, we'll give you like a preferred rate. And I'm not looking for deals. I'm just looking for access because you show up and it's like, oh, we've got a tournament. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah, we ran.
But it's, So, I'll and we talked about driving for golf. I'll come on out and
if you come out to Calgary, you should probably try and play one of the Toucan and Anascus courses. You would absolutely love that.
That would be fun. I know the last time I was in the area, it was just I think the year after the flood, so they were out of commission.
Yeah, well, in the last two, not this year, but the 2 years beforehand, we played Mount Kidd the first year and then Mount Lorette last year. Just beautiful.
Have you guys done the Wolf Creek courses? Have you guys?
Not yet.
Oh, guys, now it's probably a bit of a haul for you guys because they're even north of Calgary and Ponoka, but
yep.
Geez, are they ever good? Like
I kind of grew up outside that way, out towards Edmonton, where I'm originally from.
Yeah. Now I've heard the courses are in receivership, so I'm a little kind of sad about their future. But the newer course, that back nine is, God, it's just there's so many amazing golf holes. It's it was pretty awesome.
Well, that's the fun of playing all those different courses that you don't get to normally play, right? You just find all those hidden gems that are out there that you might not know.
We haven't played any of the, like, we'll say, cool courses around the area, like the higher end courses, because again, we're just getting into this and we're trying to figure out, we're trying to navigate our way around. Where do we want to? Where's our best results going to be when we go out to a golf course, right? Because they have a Phil Mickelson design one in Calgary now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's getting go private here right away, though.
Yeah, it's going private here right away, so we don't get to play that one. But something like that, right? Like, you know, something like that could be in our future.
But even next year, though, like the idea of just the Medicine Hat Tour, like just keeping Mulligans and Hackers as it's great promotion for all the Medicine Hat courses. Because, I mean, you guys are nothing if not loyal. So it's just like, here's what we're doing. Here's where we are. Here's where we're playing. And I love it. I love following along.
We have some courses that we make it a point to go and visit every year, whether they're on tour or not, like Rolling Hills. That was a gem we found first when we started this, and again, a little 9-hole course, right? And just in the middle of nowhere,
right?
And it's less than an hour away from here. And then
so cool.
Maple Creek we played this year. I think, what did we play it? 2-3 times this year?
Well, you played it twice. I played it once because I missed the tour date.
We had a tour date out there, and we liked it so much. We liked it so much that when Chris got healthy, we're like, Chris, you got to go out and do this course. So we made another trip out to Maple Creek, Saskatchewan, and did another 18 out there because, like, you got to see this because this is a beautiful little 9-hole course and
nice little track out there.
That's awesome.
That's part of this, attraction that we do too, is find these little things here and there, right?
It's so fun.
Burstall, when we went out there and we played 36, like that's another nice little, like, you don't think of it, but it's literally in Burstall, Saskatchewan, in this little tiny town, and in the middle of a farmer's field, and they probably have nicer fairways than any golf course in the city here. But if you're off the fairway, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
You're in the prairie grass then.
Yeah.
So hit the fairways. Well, it's been a lot of fun since we started this, and again,
that's so cool.
Talking to people like you, Mike, and again, just becoming friends with, like, because we chat again quite a bit. We post a lot of stuff because, again, I wear your hats exclusively now, and now that you'll be the official hat of the Mulligans and Hackers podcast tour, we'll keep propping your hats, and the hats are one thing, but this type of communication, this type of friendship, and just getting in touch is so cool, and we want to keep that going as well, right?
Well, you guys are doing something special. I tell you, I look forward to the day. Well, two things: when I can join you guys on one of your tour events, because that's going to be pretty amazing. But when we connect up and you guys say, Mike, there's a group out in BC, there's a group out in New Brunswick, they've started a Mulligans and Hackers tour. Like, I think you guys have got something that other groups would really love to emulate, because it starts with great guys. So
friends,
right?
Yeah. I mean, the idea just started just getting our buddies out to play and just making it
go. And it was just convenient enough for us that we're all around the same handicap, so it is competitive. And if
we're all the same
buddies went out and played, and there was a big handicap difference, we'll play off your handicaps and still continue to record the points, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a fan, and I will continue to follow you guys. I wish you guys all the best. Good health, Chris. Hope you heal up 100%.
Oh yeah, I'll be back
Yeah.
raring and ready to go next year. These guys, they were getting scared at the end of the year as I was getting a little healthier and my game was coming. Unfortunately, I saved my best rounds for late in the year. Like Alvin and I were out one weekend here not long ago, and before the end of the year, and I think I shot a 73, and I had a chance to break 70 going into the last two holes, and I think I took a double bogey or something through the last three holes. But
so were you aware that you were shooting really well?
I was, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no,
numbers. We played the back first, and then 7 is the hardest par 3 on the course, and 7 just eats everybody up.
Okay.
And I ended up double bogey, and I'm like, whatever, let's get on to the next hole. And then the next hole, I hit my tee shot OB, and I was just like, oh no. And then at that point, I would just kind of try to bring it back, and I knew I'd still shoot a low 70, which ended up. The 73 ended up being my personal best anyway. So I was like, you know what? I can't complain. Cool. I had a couple bad holes. It's not the end of the day. And then a few weeks later, I think Alvin shot the same or a little better.
I shot 72 and I triple bogeyed 18.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a chance to break it.
I had a chance to break it too. And our home course is a par 66. So that would have been wild, but
that would be so cool. My best is a 75. And it was in a hometown course where I live here in Burlington in Southern Ontario. And I realized that I was even after 15. And I don't know why I stood on the tee. It's like, because it's like, hell, I'm doing pretty good. And do a little mental math. It's like, and then double and bogey and a bogey to finish. So it's a par 71 and I got a 75, which at the end of the day, it's like,
that's pretty good.
Still fantastic.
Never done that before.
So I'm just going to put it out here now that if you come out and play in one of our events, we might have to use your handicap.
Yeah. See, it's funny. Golf's like fishing, right? It's all the great stories. I haven't told you a story about club championships and it wasn't me, but you see it, and maybe you guys see it on tour where. Now, it's lightly competitive for you guys, but you get into a club championship, and I saw a guy 4-putt from 8 feet.
Oofda.
It's hard to watch. It's
I feel
really, really hard to watch.
Well, one of my nicknames on our tour is Dead Putt. So yeah, I feel that. So it's fairway finder and Dead Putt for me. So
yeah. Because I'm a 12, I play off a 12, so I'm a 12 handicap and got grouped with guys about the same. And I got in, I shot like an 87 or an 88, which for tournament conditions, like, okay, well, it was okay. But the guy I was playing with, he got like 102. And the worst part is like, he's got 2 more days of this, right? And he showed up. I gave him a lot of credit because I thought he would just like say, yeah, something's hurt or whatever, but he came out and played. So, but it's the greatest game. Drives me crazy sometimes, but I love it to bits.
A lot of fun, man, and we're having a lot of fun, and we're going to keep having
good stuff. Well, I'll be following, so I've got to.
Well, buddy, I appreciate your time. I really do, and I'm glad we connected like this, and we'll have to do this again and stay in touch throughout our little collab here that we got going, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. And again, it's been a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, everybody's going to be super excited.
Yeah, thank you guys for the support too. But I'm a fan of what you guys are doing, so I appreciate the invite. Such a pleasure to chat golf. Continued success. And,
thanks, buddy. Take care.
Take care, guys.
All the best, Mike. Thanks.